Hi guys, it's Joe Rowan, and I thought while I'm on a roll and while I've got the candle underneath me and I'm looking all creepy, I would do a video on something I've been thinking about and it had been coming up time and time again. I might call it witchy independence, or the importance of listening to yourself, or personal insights, something like that. And this is something that's been coming up a lot recently, and I feel almost bad saying it to people, and I thought maybe I'll do a video and sort of explain how I mean it. So a lot of people have asked certain questions. How do I know if this is right for me? How do I know if I'm doing it right? And should I do this? Should I do this? Etc. And I love questions and I love talking about it. So, you know, anybody who has already asked me questions or wishes to ask me questions, feel free. I will discuss it with you if I can. But I keep saying to people, and I keep reiterating that a lot of it is to do with your personal feelings, that gut instinct that you get, that connection to divine, that what is right for you feeling. So, for example, should I put a certain colour altar cloth on my altar? Should I position it a certain way? Should I don't know, all sorts of things. And I sort of say, well, this is what I I must be infuriating, I swear I must be, and I don't mean to be, but I quite often go, well, what do you feel? What do you think? What sticks out to you? What pops into your head? What feels right to you? And that is personal insight, personal intuition, personal connection with the divine. And the whole point of me saying it and me believing it and me bringing it up in this video is, I think the need for individuality and personal insight is more paramount now than it has ever been. It is important to follow your own heart and walk your own path, because only you can walk your path. Other people come and go, give their opinion, but it's you that has to live it, that has to deal with the fallout if it's wrong for you. If you make mistakes, if you fall down, it's you that's going to have to feel it as you fall down and then pick yourself up. And we all fall down in life, literally and and emotionally and all the rest of it. And I've been taking some time to back off from the world in general, and I do this. I've always done it, and sometimes I just feel a little bit overwhelmed. I'm quite empathic, and I sometimes take on too much, and I need to step back. And that is, for a long time, something I had a problem doing, because I felt selfish. I felt like I should always be doing, I should always be helping people, and the truth of the matter is that there's a weird flickering going on behind me on the camera. The truth of the matter is that it's not selfish to take care of yourself, and it is necessary to take those steps back and to not let people have all of you that there is to have, and you know, to take care of yourself. And that is something that has, in my path, has been something I've had to learn. Something that is difficult for me to, even now, to do it. And I just force myself to do it because I know that I will get overwhelmed. I want to help. I want to talk. But sometimes I just need to take that personal time and chill, because if I don't, I get very, very stressed out. I get very, very angsty and agitated, and it's not good for me. I'm not in a place at the minute where I can take on the problems of the world and be fine and dandy to do it. I will help as much as I can, too much sometimes, and I have to find that balance. And that's what I think is key with personal insight, personal inspiration, looking within yourself to know what you know, to know what you think, to know what you feel, to apply these things to every aspect of your life, even your spiritual path. And there is a great culture in the world of spiritual paths, where we seem to not question the advice that we are given. So, for example, you're new to all of this, it's all very exciting, and you lay your hands on every book you can get hold of. Now, I did this, and what I actually ended up doing was studying witchcraft and originally Wicca, and then I moved on, and all sorts of different branches of witchcrafty paths for 5 years. For 5 years I studied before I even started practicing regularly. Before that point, I had tried out things, I was getting to know things, I would, like if I'd been reading about, say, herbs and gemstones, I would have those to hand and I would be setting them up and feeling the energies and meditating and that sort of thing, but in a general sense. But before I felt really fully comfortable, 5 years. And in those 5 years, it came to the point where I realised there were some things in these books that not only contradicted things in other books, but didn't feel right to me. And these books that we have purchased with our money, that we, and I don't know about you, I'm a bookworm, a crazy book person. I will have a library probably before too much longer, because I'm that bad for books. So to read something in a book and to think, I don't know, it can be a really difficult thing, and it can throw you off on your path, because you're like, well, this is definitely what I wanted, but now I've read this and I'm doubting it, and that doesn't feel right to me, so am I on the right path? And what you need to do is you need to go into yourself first and foremost. Is it just that one sentence? Is it just that idea? Is it just that one practice? Is it just this writer that is throwing you off for a loop? And if it is, it's just their opinion. And we tend to sort of put this importance on people who we claim to be experts, like they've written a book, so it must all be accurate. And to be honest, it's accurate within the dimension of them. It is their personal life, their practice, their path. And some of the stuff out there is gorgeous and beautiful, and some of it will resonate with you and some of it won't, and that is absolutely fine. And it's absolutely amazing to have all these books available to hand, to read them, to see how, is it different, is it, what's out there, is this right, is this wrong, and to question text and method is a really important part, I think, of any intellectual pursuit. And religion is and should be an intellectual pursuit, not solely, it's to do with faith, it's to do with heart, it's to do with feelings, it's to do with a relationship with spirit and divinity. And a lot of people would classify these things so far out of the realm of intellect that they get arsy about it, you know, the people who claim cold hard logic in the face of religion, and that therefore all religion is null and void. But there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be an intellectual pursuit. If something feels wrong to you and stupid and goes against common sense or goes against your better judgment, and it feels unfortunate, and you up here you're like, and in your heart you're like, then you don't incorporate it into your path. And that sounds like a simple thing to say, but when you're walking it, when you're learning, when you're new, when it's all very, not frightening, but daunting maybe, to say, well, I don't think this is right, and I don't really want to incorporate that in my path. Paganism and witchcraft, or however you want to term it, allows for that freedom of choice, for you to question things on an ethical level, to decide on something. And I think that's really, really important. The personal insight, the personal click, the personal choice. And it's knowing when something is right and something is wrong, and developing your own personal intuition, and not just taking what anybody says as gospel. We are on a pagan path because we want to shape our path, because we want to question it, because we don't buy into other religions. They didn't feel right to us. We looked for something freer, more involved, more personal. It's said in witchcraft and within paganism, we are each our own priest and priestess, because we commune with the divine ourselves, not through someone else. And that's a really important part of it to me, because it doesn't allow for anyone to be more important or more spiritual than anybody else. More seasoned, maybe, longer in the longer in the path, longer in having learnt. Undoubtedly there are people who have had 15-20 years experience, and they're going to know something more than someone who's been in it for a year, hopefully, if they have really invested the time, energy and intellectual pursuit. But even if a person of 20 odd years says something and you don't feel right about it, then that's your prerogative to question them. It's true of all disciplines, and it should be true of spirituality. So the whole point of this is basically to emphasize the idea of personal intuition, individual sort of, it's the power to will, the willpower to question it, like I've discussed before, to feel what is right for you, to be an individual and not a sheep, to not just follow what is said, but to question, to not just allow things to be the way they are, but to push through, to question it, to examine it, to throw it on its head, to understand it in all of its aspects rather than just accepting what you are told. And I think this is a really important part of any witchy path. So it's going to be a quite short video, relatively speaking, for me talking, but I thought I would just put it out there. Just some mutterings of ramblings probably, but there you go. So many blessings.